This is a communication question asked many times in the test papers. Says it's about instantaneous rate of change. Well, consider the difference of quotient 5 minus 2 plus h cube plus 40 over h. Now, the questions related to this are: find the equation of the function, it's the original function, okay, for which this differential of quotient is given. Find the tangent point. State the restrictions, if any. What does the difference quotient signify? Okay, I hope you remember what is difference quotient, right? Let me just summarize here for you. Let us say if the function is f of x, then f of x plus h minus f of x over x plus h minus x, the difference in x points, which will be h. That is difference of quotient. So basically what this signifies, which is kind of answer for D, is if you consider a curve, right? Let's say this is a curve, right? So there are 2 points here. We take any 2 points on the curve, and let us assume that this point, let's say this is the x-axis, this point is at x, and this point is at x plus h. H is a number which is very, very small as compared to 1, and it is kind of approaching 0, like 0.001, like that. Very small number. So this point is actually speaking very close to this, right? So imagine if this point is very, very close to this, then if you join the two, you get a tangent line, correct? Now for clarity, we have just shown it like big enough so that you can appreciate how it looks when enlarged, let's say 1,000 times, okay? In that case, it looks something like this, and if you join it, kind of like this, let's say this is the point, then you get a secant, right? And by drawing this triangle, you can find the slope of the secant. And this distance is the rise, and that is run. So how much is the rise? The rise is value of function at x plus h, which is this, minus value of function at x, right, which is this point. So that is the rise. And what is the run? Run is the difference between x plus h and x, correct? And which is it. So that is kind of slope of the secant. Do you see that? Now if h is very, very small, then this point will come very close to this, and this secant becomes a tangent. So this is a tangent at this point x. Do you understand? This point, which normally in the formula x is written here, right? So in the formula, when we are trying to find difference of quotient at a point, then x is replaced by that point, right? And we get here f of a plus h minus the value of function at a divided by h. Correct? This is what the difference of quotient becomes, right? So here we are given a difference of quotient which should be compared with this formula. Do you see that? So if you compare this, then what do you get? That will help you to determine or to find the answer for all these questions, okay? So if this problem comes under communication, you should actually sketch this kind of a graph to show what you're trying to do and write down the basic difference of quotient equation and then answer the questions, right? Now, I hope you understand what I'm trying to say, right? So find the equation of the function. That means what is f of x? Okay, let's try to answer the questions in a different order. First, let's try to find the point, tangent point. So this tells you that the function basically is x cubed, right? The function f here is x cubed, and 5 is like multiplied by 5, okay? So 5x cubed seems to be your function. Now we will just check that in a moment, right? I'm not writing it here, but we're just trying to check whether that is absolutely the right answer or not, okay? So for the time being, we assume that 5x cubed is the function. Now how can we be sure about it? To be sure about it is this point. Find the tangent point. So we know the point A, if you compare here, A is minus 2. So what basically we should get is the f of minus 2 should be equal to fa, should come here, which is minus 40, because do you see this minus? This is minus, right? It becomes plus here. That means f of minus 2 should be equals to minus 40. So this is, and therefore the point where we're talking about the tangent point, the answer for that is very clear, and the answer for that is minus 2 is the x value and minus 40 is the y value. Correct? Now we will check this value with our function, which we just assumed. So we will write, find the equation of function, let the function be 5x cubed. Okay, if I write 5x cubed, then if I plug in minus 2 in it, do I get 40? So this is kind of check, right? So minus 2 cubed is minus 8, and minus 8 times 5 is minus 40. So that's correct. Therefore, we can write that function f of x is equals to 5x cubed. Correct? Now state any restrictions, if any, right? The restrictions are not there on our function, but in this quotient, h is not equal to 0. So that is a restriction because we cannot really divide denominator. So h is not equal to 0 is the restriction. Correct? What does the difference quotient signify? This I explained right in the very beginning. Well, so you could write all this explanation which I gave you here. Correct? So you could answer the question in this order also, right? So you do this explanation here, explaining all these things, correct? And then you can answer your question perfectly, correct? I hope you get the answer. So the equation of the function is f of x equals to 5x cubed. Find the tangent point. It is minus 2 and 40 minus, because at f of minus 2 you should get minus 40. Restrictions are not there on the function, but they are on h. H is approaching 0, right? H is actually very, very close to 0. It's very, very less than 1, right? But it is like approaching 0. So we could also say h approaches 0. We could write this, but it is never equal to 0, right? That is important. That's the restriction. So, and what does the difference quotient signify? It signifies instantaneous rate of change. So this secant, so at this point when you draw this, secant gets converted to a tangent, and difference quotient actually gives us slope of the tangent. Do you see? And that slope of the tangent provides us with instantaneous rate of change at this point, at minus 2 in this case. Okay, so you have to say that it signifies the instantaneous rate of change at a given point, or slope of the tangent at a given point. Okay, I hope you understand and you are in a good position to answer this question. Thank you.